President Macron has met with Ukrainian soldiers training at a military base in France. Hurricane Milton has made landfall along Florida's Gulf Coast, bringing storm surges, intense winds and flooding. President Volodymyr Zelensky has said Russia's war in Ukraine must end no later than 2025, as he called for progress on his country's NATO membership.
The situation on the battlefield creates an opportunity to make this choice, a choice for decisive action to end the war no later than in 2025. And we are counting on President Biden's leadership. We rely on the strong and wise steps of Britain, France, Germany, and Italy to bring security and peace to Europe.
Zelensky spoke while on a visit to the Croatian city of Dubrovnik, where he is participating in the third meeting of the Ukraine Southeast Europe Summit. The participants in the summit are expected to adopt a joint Dubrovnik declaration, similar to those signed at the summits in Athens and Tirana. Zelensky has also signed an agreement with Croatian President Andrej Plenković, which pledges long-term cooperation between Croatia and Ukraine. Meanwhile, a spokesperson from Russia's foreign ministry has said it will be impossible to achieve peace in Ukraine if the country joins the NATO alliance. In her weekly briefing, Maria Zakharova accused the West of attempting to turn Ukraine into a springboard for confrontation with Russia.
For the first time, French President Emmanuel Macron met with the Ukrainian soldiers trained on French territory on Wednesday. In this secret military base in eastern France, everything is done to replicate the exact conditions on the battlefield, like these trenches that have been specifically dug for the training. French military have had to adapt to the Ukrainian army's needs in their fight against Russia's full-scale invasion.
La menace à laquelle on doit faire face en termes d'instruction, c'est plutôt orienté sur la connaissance du drone aujourd'hui. Donc nous, on le prend en compte dans la réalisation des tranchées et surtout le côté camouflage.
Over the next 2 months, 2,300 Ukrainian soldiers will be trained in this camp. Most of them are young recruits who have already completed some sort of basic training course.
Ils ont suivi quelques semaines de formation déjà en Ukraine. Au préalable avant de venir en France, et nous on leur inculque des savoir-faire qu'on a, des méthodes de travail, et on fait ça sous forme d'un partenariat, donc c'est vraiment un échange.
France is the first country to train an entire Ukrainian brigade on its soil. This visit comes right before Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's trip to Paris on Thursday for bilateral talks with the French leader. Sofia Katsenkova reporting from Paris for Euronews.
Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban divided the European Parliament in the French city of Strasbourg. Orban's speech on Hungary's presidency received approval from radical right groups and critique from others. The head of Hungary's main opposition party, TISA, Peter Magyar, voiced his concern over Orban's address.
He didn't give any reply to the questions concerning the healthcare, the collapsed healthcare system, the collapsed education system, the public transport, the collapsed Hungarian economy, the budget situation. He didn't reply anything. He just said some personal critics and spoke about Brussels bureaucracy and the fight between Hungary and the European Union.
Several leftist MEPs protested against Orban's authoritarian rule outside of the chamber, some even boycotting his opening speech and entering only for the debate. They are especially concerned about respect for democracy and the rule of law in Hungary, as well as Orban's stance on immigration and foreign policy. Green MEP Daniel Freund openly called Orban a dictator.
It's a lost presidency. We will see pretty much zero progress on any of the legislative negotiations. But then comes the additional risk where Orban misuses his presidency. And we have already seen that when he went to see Putin and Xi and Donald Trump. And I fear that we haven't seen all of that yet. We're facing an extremely tight US election on the 5th of November. So what happens if Orban, on behalf of the European Union supposedly, tries to intervene into the US election?
The Hungarian Prime Minister received support from his political group, the Patriots for Europe, and other far-right groups.
È stato un intervento molto concreto e centrato su quelle che sono le urgenze che una presidenza di turno dovrebbe affrontare, quindi con focus particolare sul tema dei costi dell'energia, della competitività delle imprese europee raffrontate con l'estero, con un focus anche sul tema della protezione dei confini.
At the end of the debate, Orban received applause from one side of the room and loud boos from the other.
Addressing issues related to family and demography will be at the center of the upcoming European Congress on Family, organized by the ECR party in Croatia. In a briefing held in Rome, the party's Secretary General Antonio Giordano, alongside representatives of Brothers of Italy, explained the focus of the event and why these topics are central to the Conservatives' political agenda.
Un tema è sicuramente il punto di vista valoriale, sul quale i conservatori hanno un'idea molto chiara. Grande apertura a tutti i tipi di diritti, ma con la famiglia al centro. Poi ci sono le sfide economiche che le famiglie affrontano e quindi questo verrà ragionato con degli economisti. Poi ci sono le sfide tecnologiche, perché non dimentichiamoci che oggi uno degli elementi di crisi della famiglia è l'abbandono del dialogo a favore del social media.
A total of 300 delegates from around the world will attend the event, among them representatives from various right-wing forces. The ECR's party mission is to strengthen ties among conservatives around shared values, acting as a mediator among different parties.
Quando si parla di famiglia si riunisce tutto e quindi avremo membri del Partito Popolare, avremo membri dei Patrioti, ovviamente la maggioranza dei membri sarà del Partito Conservatore Europeo. In generale il progetto di ECR è quello di essere il centro del dialogo, quindi il punto di raccordo dove si possa parlare alla nostra destra e alla nostra sinistra e nel futuro io spero di andare ancora più a sinistra.
Family and the fight against the demographic crisis gripping Europe have long been central to the ECR and FDI's political agenda.
In Italia indubbiamente abbiamo dei numeri preoccupanti che devono essere posti all'attenzione e al centro dell'agenda politica del governo, cosa che in realtà il governo Meloni ha già fatto con una serie di stanziamenti.
Giorgia Orlandi for Euronews in Rome.
The outbreak of war in the Middle East has raised serious concerns in Europe. On Friday, leaders from the 9 Mediterranean countries which form the Med9 alliance are due to meet in Cyprus, where they will discuss the risks posed by the escalating conflict between Lebanon, Israel and Gaza and explore ways to address the deepening humanitarian crisis.
Η Κυπριακή Δημοκρατία μέσα από την πρωτοβουλία Αμάλθεια είναι γνωστό ότι συμβάλαμε σε ένα πολύ μεγάλο βαθμό στην αντιμετώπιση της ανθρωπιστικής κρίσης στην Γάζα, αλλά και μέσα από την ενεργοποίηση του σχεδίου Εστία την προηγούμενη Τρίτη πετύχαμε μέχρι στιγμής τον επαναπατρισμό 2.000 πολιτών από 20 κράτη μέσα από την συνεργασία 7 κρατών που χρησιμοποίησαν τους χώρους της υποδομής της Κυπριακής Δημοκρατίας.
Another major concern for Cyprus is the prospect of another wave of migration from the Middle East. The island has already been strained by a large influx of refugees, particularly Syrians arriving via Lebanon. And now Cypriot President Nikos Christodoulidis is warning that Cyprus has reached its limit.
Οφείλουμε να ομολογήσουμε ότι τα τελευταίο ένα χρόνο έχει μειωθεί σε μεγάλο αριθμό η ροή μεταναστών προς την Κύπρο, αλλά δεν πάβει από τη στιγμή που υπάρχει αυτή η κατάσταση στην περιοχή Λογικό είναι ταλαιπωρημένοι άνθρωποι που ψάχνουν φως στην άκρη του τούνελ, να επιχειρήσουν κάποια στιγμή να έρθουν πίσω στην Κύπρο.
Περασμένη άνοιξη η Κύπρος δέχθηκε μεγάλο αριθμό προσφύγων και μεταναστών από τον Λίβανο. Νίκος Χριστοδουλίδης και Ούρσουλα Φόντερ Λάιεν έσπευσαν στη Βηρητό, η οποία και έλαβε πακέτο στήριξης ύψους 1 δισεκατομμυρίου ευρώ. Όμως η επέκταση του πολέμου αλλάζει τα δεδομένα. Η Med9 θα εξετάσει τρόπους αντίδρασης εφόσον μεγάλος αριθμός ανθρώπων προσπαθήσει να φτάσει στην Ευρώπη μέσω Κύπρου και Ελλάδας. Από την Λευκοσία για το Euronews, Απόστολος Τάικος.
Hurricane Milton has made landfall along Florida's Gulf Coast as a Category 3 storm, bringing life-threatening storm surges, flooding, rainfall and extreme winds. Gusts travelling as fast as 100 miles per hour have been reported in the Tampa Bay area, and flash flood warnings have been issued for nearly 2 million people in Tampa, St. Petersburg and Clearwater. More than 1 million people have currently lost power, and outages are expected to increase as Milton moves across the state. Shelters have been set up across the state for those who have had to evacuate their homes, and Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis has warned people to stay inside.
Stay inside and stay off the roads. Floodwaters and rushing storm surge are very dangerous. Stay put until the storm is past. If you are in Sarasota, Manatee, some of those areas where the eye of the storm is going, it may be where things calm down for a minute. Just understand that means you're in the eye. It's going to go back and get really nasty very soon. So don't go outdoors until it is confirmed safe.
Search and rescue operations also continue after multiple tornadoes tore across Florida ahead of Milton's approach, destroying around 125 homes.